What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the final part of the exclusive Dynasty Warriors Origins content that I have for you guys this week. And this is going to be the interview with Tomohiko Sho himself. Very nice guy, very humble, super respectful. We're going to play from the beginning. I'm going to chop it up, go through the questions or responses, and just put it in a way that makes sense for you guys so you guys can digest everything properly. And then I will give you my thoughts on his responses. My God, so many times. And what I felt, or just what I thought about in general, and just give you my overall thoughts on what he responded to and how he responded and all that. But I'm gonna let it play through. We gotta, I think I asked my 10 or so questions, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's go to question number 1. All right, are we good to start?
Yeah, you're straight.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to play, and I'm so excited for the whole game. I guess the biggest question I want to start off with is Dynasty Warriors Origins a spin-off game, or is it supposed to be Dynasty Warriors 10? Or no?
So if we were to choose out of two options, then it would probably be something of a DW10 position, but it's not actually 10, so we're calling it Origins. So in the future there might actually be a Dynasty Warriors 10, but in terms of being part of the main series, this is the next game in the main series.
Oh, gotcha. Makes sense. All right, so first question was, obviously we all want to know, right? Is this Dynasty Warriors 10? Because some people think it is, some people think it isn't. It's technically a yes and no question. This is the next iteration of the series, but it's not Dynasty Warriors 10. There could very well be a Dynasty Warriors 10 that's the next number in the series, but it would be 10 instead of like 11. So this was, hopefully that makes sense, right? So it is the next step. This is after Dynasty Warriors 9. This is the next main game, but it's just not called 10, right? So we might get a Dynasty Warriors 10 later on, but right now Origins is the filling in the slot for Dynasty Warriors 10. It's the next game in the series, so it's a yes and kind of a no question. Moving on to the next one. So, and I think I've already have read about it. I'm going to skip down. Is there going to be, or is there plans to be a Dynasty Warriors Origins 2, or is a DLC going to cover the stuff after Chirpy?
So I think the order is a little bit diverse. I think in terms of the next step of DLC, we don't plan on making the story of the Battle of Shibi from there on, because it's too complex and too much content to be considered as a DLC. If we were to include the content after that, then we would like to do that as a proper game.
で続編があるかどうか、オリジン2が出るかどうかは、これがいっぱい売れたらこれの2がきっと出ると思います。
And in terms of whether or not there will be a Dynasty Warriors Origins 2, well, it'll depend on how this game sells, and if it sells well enough, then I think we can make an Origins 2.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome. So the DLC question, pretty straightforward, I would say. So they don't plan on making anything in terms of like extra battles for DLC, at least after Chirpy is what it seems like, because it would be a comprehensive thing for them to do. So it seems like if any DLC we get, it's going to be extra companions or things. I think I asked that question a little later, but extra companions, maybe smaller battles or extra content in terms of like smaller scale battles. We'll see what they do with it. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. It was a pretty straightforward question, not too complicated, I think, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see what they do to add on to it, but if not, and they go straight to just developing Origins 2, I'm kind of down with that too. We'll see what happens. Will there be a free mode or some mode where we can play as our favorite characters for that particular mode, or are they all limited to the companion slot?
So there isn't a free mode where you can play as your favorite character in this game, as like in previous games.
Yes.
But I think in terms of the officer that you are with, when you want to clear a stage, you can go back and replay that stage and choose the officer that you want to play with.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right, big question that everybody was trying to figure out. Free mode, is it going to be possibility to play as our favorite characters in a free mode kind of thing, maybe a couple stages, whatever it may be? The answer is basically no. It's not going to be a thing for this game, but if you play through it again, you can select different companions for that, which is not the best thing to hear as a fan, you know. But with the focus on the story and this new character, I hope it'll make up for the lack of being able to play with our favorite characters, or maybe DLC will find a way to use them. I don't know. I don't know what they are planning at this point in time, but it's a little disheartening to hear that. But maybe it's for the best as we dive into the world that is given to us with Origin. So not the best thing to hear as a fan, but you know, it's too early to say honestly that it is a loss, because we don't know how the game is going to turn out fully just yet. Even with my experience of playing the game for the short time that I did, I don't know exactly how the game's going to turn out. So it might be enough even without the free mode. We'll just have to wait and see. And then the next one. So obviously I don't know how it ends, like I asked earlier. But I want to know, and I know you guys are going with the original character route, but I guess that's the best way to ask it is like, why not the choice of a fully customizable character? Is it to push this specific original person, or is there a big reveal at the end of the game?
So, well, it really had to do with the budget. No, just kidding. But what it is that even though it is an original character, I think we really took a lot of consideration into how this character sort of will fit into this. How this character is set up, and I think you know, in terms of the game setting and the story, how we wanted to tell it, we basically came up with this protagonist that we thought that would fit that's the story that we want to tell, the setting that we want to show. So I think that's why it's not a fully customizable character. We do have like an idea in mind and how we want the story to be seen, and as well as how it should be shown through the eyes of this character.
Awesome, absolutely. So another big one for us fans that we asked, why not the fully customizable character? So they wanted to focus on obviously this MC and the story around him. There's also some other things that I know I'm not allowed to say, but there's some things that make sense from what I've seen of why they chose this route, which you guys will find out when you play. But disheartening to hear, yes, the budget joke, maybe that's some truth in that. There's always a little truth in a joke, right? But you know, it's not, at least for me, it's not a devastating thing to be like, oh, that's not fully customizable. It is, again, disheartening, similar with the free mode thing, but I think, and you know, and I hope, from what I've seen so far, it seems like it's going to be, it's going to make sense as we get towards the end of our first or second or third playthrough, whatever it may be. And the fully customizable character would have been amazing, but I think this is a good step to be at. You know, it is not that big of a deal, at least for me personally. So even though I kind of assumed that's kind of what they were going to say, I don't think it's that big of a deal in terms of not having the fully customizable character. When you guys play the game, you might see why. Moving on. So the playable companions are right now at 9 in total. I guess why the limit on them besides the budget? And will there be more added later, maybe like in a DLC or something to play with?
So I can't go and say it's not, the budget does not have anything to do with it, but I think when we're thinking about when you're spending all this time, more than 20 hours playing the game, and when you want to play it, having, and with this series having, we've got like 94 officers in total. I think in order to sort of like put it within that 20 hours, 30 hours or so. From a game design standpoint, I think probably 10 or less. It was sort of the point that we thought that we can like properly really bring out the characteristics of the characters to really make their actions solid, and as well as being able to tell the story, to have their involvement in the story, and to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the story, how those companion officers also fit into the story. I think because taking it from that perspective, I think pretty much the nine companion officers, it seemed to be like the right number that would fit in that. In terms of adding more through DLC, currently we don't have any plans for that.
Gotcha. Another interesting point that we had as fans: why is there only 9 playable companions? Why, so many weapon clones and all that? Some character assumes Joshu with the chakrams. Not the best place to be, but I understand with the budget and the focus that they had for this game, they just, it seems like they ran out of budget in order to do those things for those characters. And then focusing on the development of those 9 or 10 weapons for the character seemed, it made sense for them to have enough to diversify the character if need be, but not overdo it so much where they're going over budget or it's taking another 5 years in order to make the game, whatever it may be. I think he answers this a little later, but it's a good base start for what they're trying to create with this spin-off of the series, if that makes any sense. So I don't mind it. Some of the characters having those weapons does bug me a little bit, but it makes sense as to why it is like that for right now. Right, going forward, patches, DLCs, or maybe even the second iteration of the game, the sequel. Hopefully we'll fix all those things because it's hard seeing some of our favorites without their iconic weapons. And then I guess off of that, since the 9 are the companions, are they the most that we have the interactions with, or is it with the other 30s whatever left characters that are also involved in the game, or is it just those 9 plus I guess Song Jiao that we have those really close important relationships with?
So in terms of the gameplay aspects, being able to fighting with you and really getting to know the action set, things like that. In terms of that kind of in that definition of interaction, probably those 9 companions are the ones that that you will be the most closest with. But within the gameplay itself, we do have you can become more familiar with. We do have bonds that you can also form with the other characters as well. So then you are able to deepen relationships with the other characters, the other officers that show up in the game as well.
And what does that do for the character as he's going through the story, or is it something more of an end game kind of thing for the player? If that makes sense.
So I mean, when in terms of not just companions, but the relationships.
The relationships of building with Pang Tong or Wumong and all that.
So in terms of getting becoming closer with the other characters, it doesn't have an impact on the actual storyline on how it will proceed, but becoming more familiar with the characters, deepening your relationships with them, it kind of acts as an experience sort of to level up a character in order to gain experience. Deepening these relationships with the other officers will add to that, so it has this growth element for the character. So there is something. So there is meaning in terms of the actual character growth with meeting, interacting with other, and then also by deepening relationships with these other officers, they can teach you various the battle arts as well. So from a move perspective as well, there's advantages to knowing them as well.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right, kind of a long 2-parter for that one. Trying to figure out, and this is for me personally, because this is what I like most about the games, is the interpersonal relationships between, I guess, the main character for this one and the other officers in the game. Obviously, the ones with the companions will be a little more significant because they're the ones that we are playing the weapons with. But I wanted to know more about the other ones, and it just seems that, at least for now, and I could be wrong, or maybe they're just keeping it from me because, secrets make the game interesting to find. That makes sense. Anyway, so them, creating that relationship with one of the other officers who aren't necessarily a companion will give you battle arts or unique movements that, you wouldn't have if you didn't have that relationship with them. So that was the main takeaway that I got from that. And I'm sure there's other things. I hope there's other things besides just getting a couple of, different battle arts. But we'll have to wait and see when it comes out, Next question. Okay, or maybe 3. I want to know, who is your favorite Dynasty Warriors character? You can top 3 or 5. I don't care. I want to hear.
いや、まずでもいやでも全員平等に愛しているのでちょっと選ぶことができない。
So I love all of them equally. So
No, wait.
じゃあ三国志でじゃあ個人的には好きなじゃあ武将を一人だけ諸葛亮。
So, but in not Dynasty Warriors, but in the Romance of the Three Kings story overall, if I were to pick a favorite officer from there, personally, I really like Zhu Jian.
Fear the tiger of Jiangdong.
He's my favorite.
Tiger, nice. Cool. That's awesome. All right, and then these last ones are kind of personal questions that I asked Tomohiko Sho. Obviously, the first one was, who's his favorite Dynasty Warriors character? We gotta find out. We gotta know who it is, right? So he said that from a novel perspective, his favorite character is Sun Jian, which is really cool to find out, and I don't have anything against that. The Tiger of Jiangdong is a badass character, you know what I'm saying? I think I have one more question left, and then that'll be it for the video. All right, last question, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I totally understand, but it's just a curiosity standpoint from being a fan for so long. What would someone have to do, and this is something way down the line once I've completed my other goal and everything like that, what would someone have to do to eventually be a part of the creative process and work on the series?
でこれは答えられないかもしれないんですけど、一応一ファンとしてすごいシリーズを大好きな人として、で他のいろんな自分の個人の目標があったりすると、その直近のものをそれ達成すると、次のやっぱり目標としてはやっぱりもう本当にこのシリーズの開発に関わりたいなので、それを関わるようにどんなことをしないといけないんでしょうか。どのように関われるようになれるでしょうか。
でも多分ちょっと。変身なので
彼の方もゲームにこの開発に関わりたいんだったら、彼がどういう手順を取らなくちゃいけないというところが、ちょっと質問のあれが
それはやっぱそれでもゲーム会社の中途の採用に申し込みをするのが一番いいし、でただ一番大事なのはいっぱいいろんなゲームをやっぱ遊んで、しかも遊ぶだけじゃなくて、自分だったらこれもっとこうするどうするっていうのは普段から考えるようにするっていうのはすごい大事なことだと思います。
So obviously, to become a part of the series, probably you'd have to go through the company hiring process, so for job openings there. But I think one thing that to be part of the development is really not just playing the Dynasty Warriors series, but be sure to play a lot of different other games. To be exposed to a lot of different game styles and the way the stories are, and not just play it, but also kind of think, well, if I was creating this game. In this instance, I'd actually want to do it this way, or kind of look at it from a not just from a player perspective, but what if you were on the other side, and how would you want to change the game, or what do you think could be made better, and to be able to kind of sort of analyze and sort of dissect parts of the game from that perspective, that would also probably give you a bit of an edge, if you were to try and want to join.
Absolutely.
The company too.
Okay, absolutely. That's all the questions I have. So thank you. Thank you. And then my final question I had to ask people that know me, my members, all you guys know what the main goal is. So I wanted to get maybe some insight on how to get up there. And they gave me I would say a cliche answer, which is fine. It's totally understandable. I got a similar answer when I started my acting journey, and I asked an actor a similar question. I said, hey, I want to be an actor just like you, what do I need to do? And they gave me the basic response of you need to move to LA or New York. I mean, and I already knew that, right? So it's appreciative to hear the advice. It's appreciative to at least be able to not sow the seed, but plant the seed. There we go. Plant the seed. That is something that I want to do. So when I'm able to achieve my first goal, and I become successful in that, and I'm able to leverage the success that I have in order to hopefully come back to them and work on whichever game they're working on next. That is the ultimate goal for me when it comes to this series, because I absolutely love it. It is my favorite thing in the world. But in terms of the interview with Tomohiko Sho, absolutely humble, just really good energy person. It was just very open and friendly and just seemed really nice. And I absolutely had the utmost pleasure of meeting him, and I hope I get to work with him in the future. You know what I mean? So that was my interview experience with Tomohiko Sho. Those are some of the little insights on, from a, I guess, in real time kind of response there, instead of reading it from a screen like we mostly do. Those are some of the answers that we got. Some of them a little more disappointing than others, but I think when you guys get your hands on the game, it'll be worth it. You guys will see. Maybe it'll make a little more sense under why it's developed a certain way. It made a little more sense to me when I saw some things. So I was like, okay, that makes a little more sense. But there's still some things that I obviously I'm with you guys in terms of what I want. I still would want the free mode to play with our characters. I would still want the fully customizable character. But I understand why they couldn't do it with this game, or at least not right now. Again. I don't know if he mentioned it, but this is a base game. This is I might have asked him it while I was playing the game, so I might not have it. But I'm pretty sure at some point they mentioned that it's a base. It's supposed to be a base for future development, whether that be Origins 2, Dynasty Warriors 10, whatever else they're going to make with Dynasty Warriors. It's supposed to be a base, and if it does well, that could bear a really good future for the series, and I really hope that, because the day the Dynasty Wars series dies, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to, I don't know, it's gonna be a rough day for me. I have to figure out something else until I can revive it. Anyway, guys, I mean, that's all I have for the video here. That's all the questions I had for him. That's all the time I was able to have with him. I got a picture with him, as you guys saw from the community post. I'm pretty sure I put it up. So, he's a really, really cool guy. Really, really fun to do that. And just absolutely humbled and blessed that I got the opportunity to do that. And once again, I know I'm saying it all the time. I appreciate all of you guys for watching and making my community the way it is, because I was told specifically by Eric, who is the moderator for the Koei Tecmo overall Discord, he works there at Koei Tecmo America, that because of the positivity that my comments that you guys leave behind, he was able to trust me to come out there and be a positive influence with the series. So because of you guys leaving all those gushy comments, we gotta go out there. So keep doing that. Don't be doing it now. I already see you, Matt. Don't be doing it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all once again. It's the last of the exclusive footage that I have for now. And, I hope you guys enjoy the little series. Hope you guys enjoy the content. And I hope you guys are excited for Dynasty Wars Origins. I am much more excited than I am now than before I got there. Before I played the game, I was skeptical. My videos are there. I talked about it, right? The concerns I had, the worries, the comparison to Dynasty Warriors 9, all that stuff is gone. It's so different. When you guys get your hands on your own copy, you'll see what I mean. It's a hard game. It's not an easy game, but it has that fulfilling feel when you get to a battle, a section, a base, defeating an officer, right? It's a fulfilling feel, and I like that. It's similar to that old style that we kind of had in terms of the feeling, not in terms of the gameplay. Gameplay is completely different. You gotta be on your toes for that one. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have for the videos, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely appreciate a like, subscribe. We got more content coming on the way. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that stuff. Appreciate you all. And if you have any questions for me, let me know down below. And that's pretty much all I have, guys. I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone.